Welcome to Classic Game Room. As if King of the Monsters 1 wasn't enough fun, how about more monsterific action with King of the Monsters 2 on the Super Nintendo with Cyberwoo. Cyberwoo. I'm not making that up, it's in the game. It's fact. King of the Monsters 2 brings some new things to the series like cooperative gameplay and some side-scrolling beat-em-up style action in addition to straight-up monster versus monster mayhem. We begin in the American city, which appears to be Harrisburg. And the first enemy is Huge Frogger. Isn't he in a different game? Since when did Harrisburg get a space shuttle? Do your research, developers, or maybe they moved the space program to Pennsylvania. It's about time. Alright, so what do you do in this game? You crush things and punch monsters. It's just that simple. And it's a lot of fun. This is the sequel to King of the Monsters, which was a 1991 release on the SNK Neo Geo. Originally, this was also released on the Neo Geo in 1992 and later ported to the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I'm playing the Super Nintendo version, which I think looks great. I just reviewed the original King of the Monsters yesterday in the PlayStation 2 Neo Geo collection, and the Super Nintendo visuals look really good even if they're not up to Neo Geo standards. You have 3 different monsters to choose from in this game, and this time I'm playing as Cyberwoo. Cyberwoo. That's a pretty awesome name for a monster. Which horrible monster is destroying the city? Is it Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, or Cyberwoo? Or King Ghidorah, who would kick the crap out of any of them? Yes, I'm a King Ghidorah fanboy. Now, unlike the first game, you plow through the cityscape, crushing buildings and defeating some lame enemies, while collecting positive and negative power-ups along the way. Then you get to the giant radioactive pulsating heart of the game, the Monster Battle. The Eiffel Tower is just too tempting a target for a giant monster destroying cities. King of the Monsters 2 is a lot of fun, and like the original game, it's best in small doses. There's not a whole lot to it. It's a button masher with some clumsy and occasionally irritating controls. When you grapple with the enemy monsters and have to rock the Super Nintendo D-pad back and forth as quickly as possible, you'll wish you were doing something else. Or at least change your strategy so you attack them from the distance. Like the original game, you can also charge up some attacks, but they take forever to charge, so they're really not that effective. But for the most part, it's getting close, punch, kick, grapple, destroy, and it's best played with some friends. How about this? Mount Rushmore is in the Grand Canyon. Clearly, the developers of this game know more about America than I do. I always suspected the one in South Dakota was a forgery. To be perfectly honest, I prefer the first game. These side-scrolling sections add very little to King of the Monsters. If anything, they take away the immediate enjoyment of getting into boss battles with other monsters, which is why you're playing this game. Although I do like the land sharks, I'm not sure what's up with the part where you get thrown into the air and fall down. It has some funky Super Nintendo music, and it's a fun game from the era with some clever monster designs and a good sense of humor. King of the Monsters 2 is fun, even if it doesn't live up to the original. I'd like to give a big shout out thank you to our friend Chip from Alabama for donating this game to the show, because it's a lot of fun and hopefully some of you will hunt down the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis versions of King of the Monsters 2 with Cyberwoo.